Hey, what's up, guys? If you guys are a fan of the AK platform, you know what this is. This is I guess you would call a sporterized version of an AK-47. It's the way that the Russians have decided they're going to be able to import these built AK-47s legally into the United States and worldwide too. The United States have prohibited the importation of military rifles from places like Russia, Romania, Poland, places that build AK-47s. So when you see an AK-47 in the States, it is imported here as a kit, meaning imported here as not a rifle, just a bag of parts minus the receiver, which is considered the firearm. And with an AK, the receiver is actually just a piece of metal, a flat piece of metal, with holes drilled in it, with dimples put in, and then folded into shape. So it's really easy to do. You can buy a flat, an AK flat, and fold it yourself and heat treat certain areas to get it to build it into a full-blown AK receiver. But this Saiga, this is a 7.62x39 chambered in that. This is the only way you're going to be able to get a Russian AK-47 imported into the States. The other Russian AKs that you see are pretty much all modified from this particular rifle in this configuration. This is built by the Ishmash factory, which is actually the factory that builds the official Russian AKs. This is where Mikhail Kalashnikov worked for many, many years as an employee. And you guys know Kalashnikov is the designer and inventor of the AK-47 and AK-74 and all the other series of AKs, AKMs, AK-101, AK-103, etc., etc. So this one is basically the way it came, minus the only modification I've done to this one is I've threaded the barrel. You can see this camera, I've threaded the barrel, and I've attached a AK-74 style muzzle brake onto this. These muzzle brakes really work well. This is not how a traditional AK-74 would attach its muzzle brake. The traditional AK-74 has a different type of front sight post. It has a plunger and a pin that secures it into place. And you can see that this one actually has the hole that the plunger would hold this brake in place, whereas this one has just been held in place by these crush washers, which I have not shot this particular rifle, so I don't even know if this is going to stay in place when I do shoot it. This may very well come loose, so I need a test. I gotta go and shoot it and see if this is on there good enough. The interesting thing about this particular muzzle brake is that it needs to be indexed just this way. As with many muzzle brakes, you can't have it in any other index position than this. And this one is made by CNC Warrior, and you can get this for $15-20, something like that. So it comes with a 10-round mag, 7.62x39, and the big difference between these magazines and an actual AK-47 magazine, and I happen to have one, and I'll show you. This is a US made Tapco magazine. It is it should fit pretty much all AK-47s. Now you can tell at the front of the magazine when you hold the feed lips flush, at the front of the magazine it comes up a little bit higher than a traditional one. That's because the Saigas don't have a particular part that allows these AK-47 magazines to feed properly. In fact, it's not even set up so that it will accept this magazine. As you can tell, when I try to put this magazine in here, it's just not going to fit. Okay, this magazine catch is designed so that it doesn't click into this notch here on the AK-47 mag. In order for it to fit, you have to either shave this part down or shave the top of the mag catch down. And the reason for that is that you're not legally in the US allowed to use AK-47 magazines, military magazines, in this rifle. It is purely for sporting purposes. But that doesn't mean you can't convert this into a rifle that has the standard configuration as an AK-47. There's a lot of ways to do it, in fact. And you know, some of the things that people do is the most common thing people do is they'll just put a stock in there with a pistol grip without doing any modification. You know, you don't take a drill or a grinder or anything to this rifle. You just put a new stock, you put a new forend, and you can buy US made 30 round magazines and it will work. But what people don't like about this particular design is that they move the trigger guard back about an inch and a half, 2 inches. Even though it's most of the internals are the same as an AK-47 or an AKM, the trigger now relies on a transfer bar, and the transfer bar gives this trigger a really heavy and gritty feel. So it's not ideal. It does take away from the efficiency of this particular firearm. But on the other hand, it still is a Russian AK-47, at least a modified version of that. And the fact that you can buy it pretty much off the shelf in a lot of places are why these are very popular. And these are very inexpensive too. Some places, they used to be much more inexpensive than they are now. And these, you can buy them nowadays for anywhere between $300 to $450, depending on where you look. I love these rifles. I love the caliber. I love the things that you can do to them. And let me go and take this down for you. This one, I've actually taken the screws out of the forend and then the buttstock, so I can show you how this one comes apart. Let me go and take the magazine out. There's a screw that goes in right there, and without the screw, this forend should just pop right off. It's in there pretty tight. There we go. That forend pops right off. In the buttstock, let me go ahead and take the the bolt out of there. This is all standard AK type stuff. AK recoil spring, AK bolt. And you can see the internals right here. This buttstock, a little bit of tap with this rubber mallet. This thing comes right out. So now you've got kind of the receiver barrel and its essential components. And this gas tube also comes off. Comes with this cleaning kit, which with the proper buttstock, this will go right into the buttstock. Okay, so this is about as far as you can strip this down without taking tools to it. Let me move this out of the way. So, from here on out is where you would start your conversion if you were to convert it. You start out by drilling out some of these rivets. You drill out these two rivets to hold the trigger pin in place and the transfer bar pin. Once you do that, the trigger will fall right out. You drill out these rivets to take the trigger guard off, and also this plate. And once you've done that, if you're lucky, you have the right holes already in place in this receiver. If you buy a few parts, you'll be able to move this receiver or this this trigger guard and trigger up to the proper position of where the traditional AK-47 parts will sit. And then you'll be able to convert this right back to where it's supposed to be and be able to fit a pistol grip in the place where it's supposed to be, put a proper buttstock on it, and replace the forend accordingly. So let me go ahead and put this back together the way it comes. First, you put the gas tube back in, make sure this is in the right place. Okay, gas tube. Goes in like that. Here's the bolt and bolt carrier. Slide that up. Go ahead and put the recoil spring back in. Notch it into place. And in fact, you can fire this gun just like this if you wanted to. It has all the proper working parts. Load a magazine in just like this. Rack the bolt, and boom, and this thing will cycle the way it's supposed to. Okay, but to put it all back together, we'll go ahead and put this back in. Put the forend. Buttstock. If I were to properly do this, I'd put the screws back in too. I'm not going to do that right now. So there, you've got a Saiga sporting rifle. So just exactly how do you think this will look converted to an AK-47? Here you go. Let me do a little magic. There it is. This is a converted Saiga 7.62x39 AK-47 style rifle. Back to its former glory, the way Mr. Kalashnikov intended it to be. It's not 100% faithful recreation because I didn't take out the front sight block or the gas block and put the proper parts back in, but it is about the most common rebuild that people do. And I will do a more thorough review of this rifle in a future video. Thanks for watching.